for joining us. All right, here we go. Let me do that again. We just started recording. Welcome, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of October, almost Halloween, 6:30 p.m. And today we're going to learn how to budget like a millionaire. Okay. And I say that because that's really the foundation to become a millionaire. You don't have to make $500,000 a year. You don't have to make $250,000 a year or $100,000 a year. Everyone here that works can become a millionaire just by doing the right thing, having a budget, saving money every month, investing money every month, and living below your means or within your means. Okay. So as you guys are joining, I'm just going to talk. So let me go ahead and shoot over the screen. By the way, guys, at any given point in time, you guys could go ahead and ask a question, mute yourselves, or just type it in the chat box. We have Raul and we have Claudia. They're my co-hosts. They're going to be looking at all the comments and just making sure that all your answers or questions are answered. And by the way, on Facebook too, I don't know if Claudia, maybe if you could just keep an eye on Facebook for any questions over there. Okay, so this is Financial Literacy 101. And we started doing these workshops for kids, right? And one of the kids, actually several of the kids throughout the financial literacy workshops that we would have would say, wow, my parents should be on here and learn, right? So, and I didn't even think about educating the parents, but I know a lot of my clients, when they come here, we go over their budget, we go over their goals, financial goals, which involves real estate most of the time. And we get involved, but we never actually did a workshop. So I'm actually really excited to be teaching the adults. So thank you for coming on a Tuesday night. I know it's late. Really quick, this is a slideshow that we have from our kids millionaire workshop. And I have a bunch of millionaire friends, right? And before we started the workshop for kids, I said, hey, what's your number one advice to all the kids that are going to be joining us? And by the way, the first workshop that we did, we had 89 kids jump on and participate and learn about how to become a millionaire, which was cool. 89 kids jumped on. And my friends that are wealthy, their advice is here. And Ro, if you could check those mics, thank you. Their advice is here. And every one of my friends gave me a different okay. Can you guys hear me now? Okay. So here we go. So in this workshop, we're going to be talking about one of my friends. He's worth $70 million. And his only number one advice to become a millionaire, he said, save and invest 20% of all your income or allowance. Download the Robinhood app and buy 10 stocks you like and keep doing that with all the money you earned forever. And he said, with that one tip, you will become a millionaire, which he's 100% right. So in this class, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but let's go to the beginning. A lot of you guys know me. Those of you who don't, this is a little bit about me. I've been in real estate 19 years. I have 24 tenants around town that are currently paying me rent. That's cash flow. I've given over $100,000 now. Got to update that to the local community, different organizations, helping the kids and individuals. And at the age of 32, I found out I was a millionaire. Okay. So it's been 5 years now. And I'm going to share today part of the reason why by budgeting. All right. All right. So now one thing about budgeting really quick, and I'm going to just show my face really quick. Budgeting is a scary word, right? The B word. It's like nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody knows about it, but nobody wants to even discuss it or think about it because we all know we overspent. Simple as that. And I was with a friend. When was it? I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year. And she's a high income earner, right? So a lot of high income earners are broke, and she makes a lot of money, like close to somewhere in the range of $500,000 a year. That's a lot of money. You know, that's $45,000 a month. And she doesn't have much to show for it. right? She doesn't have savings. She doesn't have assets. She spends all her money. And you guys might be thinking like, man, how the heck can you spend, 40 some $1,000 a month? Well, it's the same way that somebody who earns $4,000 a month can spend all $4,000 a month, right? And end up in that rat race. So the more money you make, the more money you spend. And when we start talking about budgeting, okay, I just mentioned the word budget. I said, oh, you should start a budget. I could show you how to do a budget. She literally broke down and started crying, like crying. And she was like shaking. She was like, no, like no, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something else. And I'm like, girl, what's wrong with you? But that's when I realized that it's an emotional, a very emotional thing for a lot of us, because it's like the boogeyman in the room, like nobody wants to talk about it. And it is scary and it is a lot of work. I promise you that, because I do my budget the first Sunday of every month. So the first Sunday of every month, I sit down and I just look at everything that I've spent for the previous month, and I create my budget for the next month, and I count every single penny. So anyhow, it's okay. I get it's emotional. Let's just work through this together. Okay. Thank you for showing up. All right. So we'll start off with a quote. Do I continue this lifestyle, shopping, clothes, or do I have to sacrifice a little bit because this is important to me? That's going to be the distinguishing decisions that ends up separating the ones that end up getting it with the ones that don't. And that's from Nipsey Hussle, aka Nipsey the Great. So he describes in his life how he was just like everybody else, every other rapper, or every other friend that he had, where they were just, buying a bunch of clothes, shopping, they had a nice car, buying jewelry. And he just basically said, hey, I'm going to sacrifice a little bit because I have goals and I'm looking at the long-term plan. Okay. So I think all of us, we really need to look at, examples like that. So that's, I wanted to start off with that. Okay. The next thing is, the thing with budget is this: you're in control. Okay. Just like this little man right here walking his money. You got to take control. This is what budgeting is all about, compared to being controlled. Okay. Those of us who aren't on a budget and aren't budgeting, the money's controlling us. And that's why at the end of the month, we're just like, we feel like we're in this rat race and we're living paycheck to paycheck. It's not fun. Right. And I've been there, done that. Now let's ask the question, what is a budget? It's an estimate of how much money you will earn and how much money you spend monthly. So that's all it is. It's just an estimate of, okay, this is how much income I'm earning, and this is how much money I'm spending on a monthly basis. So sometimes you spend more. A lot of us spend more than what we make. Some of us spend everything that we make, and some of us spend less than what we make. Okay. So it's an estimate of how much we earn and how much we spend on a monthly basis. So a couple highlights about budgeting is this is the easiest way to become a millionaire, right? You don't have to make a lot of money to become a millionaire. Number one. Number two, you tell your money what to do on a monthly basis so it can work for you instead of you working for the money. Number three, what percentage should you save and invest on a monthly basis? Anybody know that? You guys could type it into the chat and we'll send you your choice, Starbucks gift card or a budgeting book. Raul, you can let me know if somebody got that right. What percentage of your income should you invest? I'll wait for the winner.
Yeah, I think everybody's a little bit shy right now. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So we got John said 20%.
There we go.
Cool. That was the first one that came in.
And that's 20%. And that's, that's the basic answer, 20% minimum. And of course, if you could do more, do more, right? So you could just type in privately to Raul if you want the budgeting book or a Starbucks gift card, John. Thank you. All right. So number 4, budgeting, budget monthly using an app. Okay. So the Mint app, you could drop the Mint app. So I'll tell you a little bit of story about me, personal story. When I first started to budget, I remember I downloaded this app, and it was like 10 years ago when like the app store was new or whatever. So it was like a basic app. It was just like, it just basically kept expenses of different categories, right? How much entertainment, how much food, how much gas I spent. And I would just type it in. And I remember my girlfriend at the time, she like kind of get like not upset, but it would bug her because she'd be like, dude, you just like put 50 cents in the meter. Why are you counting that? I would count every penny. So if I put money in the meter, I would count it. If I tipped, right? Well, if I go to a restaurant and let's say, my meal was $50 and I tipped 20%, I tipped $10, I would put food. It would be $50 and I would put $10 tip. So then I was counting how much money I was tipping out as well. And then, she always thought it was weird, but I got in the habit and I would count every single penny I've ever spent. And then it was cool too, because I would count every single dollar I earned. And I remember like one time I found like some money on the ground, nothing crazy, like a couple bucks. And then I put it as income onto the app. Right. So, anyways, it's super important to track. And the reason why it's important to track is you want to compare it to anything else in life that you could track. So a lot of us say, well, I want to lose weight. And then a lot of us don't lose weight because that's our goal, to lose weight, meaning we have to be more detailed than that. We want to say how much weight we want to lose. I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, great. What's the next step? By when? By the end of the year, by December 31st, 2021. So now you put like an exact amount to that. And then now you can start tracking. So if I weigh 180 pounds this week, then next week I weigh myself. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm at 178. And then the week after that, 175, and then I'm trying to lose my 20 pounds. So guys, we have like tracking counts in the gym or with money. Okay. We have to track every dollar we earn and then every dollar we spend. And by the way, it sucks. It's not fun. Like I've done it and it's like, at first it's like counting calories. I don't know if anyone's ever counted calories or your macros where you're like counting like what percentage of your food is protein or fat or cholesterol. It sucks because like after every meal, you're going to have to like, type in what you're eating. Right. And it's not fun. So the same goes with budgeting. It's not fun. Like when you spend some money and then you like have to record how much you just spent. Okay. Fair warning. Just wanted to share that with you. All right. So let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Number 5, this is a team effort. Your significant other has to be on board. Right. So it's tough to it's almost like this. It's like let's go back to the example of losing weight or getting in shape or being healthier, right? Like some of my family members or whatever, they, I go, hey, how come, I try to push them and shit, push their buttons sometimes too. And it's like, hey, how come you're not eating more healthier? Why you have this in your fridge? Oh, it's because my significant other, like it's them. So I eat it too. And it's like, it's always like that. and it's the same thing with budgeting, right? If your family or significant other isn't on board, it probably won't work because then they're going to wonder why you're being a cheapskate. They're going to wonder like, hey, how come you're not, spending money on entertainment or on new shoes or whatever. So it has to be a family affair. Right? You guys need to sit down, talk about it. My friend, who is a millionaire, he and his wife, first Sunday of every month, they get their glass of wine and they go over their budget. First Sunday of every month together, right? And then they do get an argument, or discussions or whatever you want to call it, right? They one person wants to spend more money on entertainment because last month was boring, and then the other person's like, no, we have our goals, and then they like come to terms on whatever they agree upon as far as money they're going to be spending. Okay. And then also it could have an impact too if, one person is making more money than the other person and it's like, hey, you're not going to tell me how to spend my money. I don't know how those conversations go. You guys figure it out. Just wanted to kick up some dust. All right. So let's go on to the next one. But it's important. It's teamwork. All right. So let's talk about, we talked about the highlights, right? Now let's talk about some like actual methods you could use in order to make some money or become millionaire over time. All right. So the envelope system, this is pretty cool. Okay. Think of the budget categories that need a cash envelope. So basically you got to think in your life. And the way that I do it is the first Sunday of every month, I have one credit card, print out my one credit card, and then I have one bank account, right? And I print out my bank account. And then I go line by line by line on every single expense that I did on my credit card first, and then I go to my bank. And that helps you determine the categories. Okay. So entertainment, what's entertainment? For me, entertainment is going to movies, going to watch the Padre game. My Netflix account, $13.99 a month. Okay. That's entertainment. Clothing, you have your clothing category, you have your gas category, you have your restaurants category, you have your personal, you have your gifts. If you gift things to people, you got your haircuts every so often. And then, by the way, I separate restaurants and groceries. Groceries is like the stuff that I go to Whole Foods and I buy, fruit or veggies or whatever there. And then restaurants is like going out and eating. Okay. So I categorize them differently just so I could know the difference. These are just a handful. Okay. But there's obviously a lot more, right? There's your automobile, there's your insurances, there's your pet, all right. So here goes the second one is figure out your budget for each category. So once you write down the categories, then you got to figure out how much are you going to spend in each category. And this is where you and your family decide together. Okay. Most people overspend on things like food or coffee or birthdays or baby showers. How many of you guys like don't ever have a weekend off because it's always someone's birthday or someone's baby shower or someone? Yeah, exactly. And that gets expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to really like start looking at that and be like, oh shoot, like how much money are we spending on, all these things? So that's super important. Now and by the way, one thing I didn't put in here as far as overspending is groceries. Okay. Groceries, by the way, is the thing that people by far spend the most on. And when I say the most on is so much food expires, so much food goes bad because you buy the fruit, you buy the whatever, and then it just sits there. No one ever eats it. You overbought, right? And that's why you got to go into the grocery store with a budget. That way, number one, you should go in with the budget, but number two, you should go in there with a list of items you're going to buy, nothing else, right? Because then everyone starts throwing stuff into a basket. You'd be like, nope, here's our list. This is all we're buying. That's it, nothing more. You save so much money that way. And then, okay, so create a budget for each category and stick to it. That's the hardest part, is sticking to it. And that's why we're going over this envelope system. This envelope system kind of makes sure that you stick to it, okay? Number 3, you create and fill cash envelopes for the budget categories. So for example, pretend that you budget $500 a month total for groceries and you get paid bi-weekly every 2 weeks. So when you get your first paycheck for the month, take out $250. Okay. Since you get paid every 2 months. So every 15 days, you get paid every 15 days, twice in a month. And your total budget for groceries is $500 a month. So that means every 2 weeks or every paycheck, you pull out $250. And on that envelope, you write down groceries on it. And then the second paycheck, you take out another $250, and then you put those $250 into the same envelopes. And by the way, this is kind of like a envelope. So this one says gas, restaurants, gifts, groceries, car, entertainment. So this is kind of like it says budget. Like for this one right here, it says budget, how much you spent in January and how much actually did you spend. February, same thing, and how much actually, and then you do every month, right? So anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not saying go out and buy it. You could create these basically for free, okay? So let's say this is the grocery one. It says the date, description, the amount that you spent, and then the balance. So basically you could keep balance of your grocery shopping for the month. And once that $500 is done with, then that's it. You know, there's no more spending. Okay, now let me go back. That's a good little hustle, whoever created that. Okay, number 4, spend only what you have in each envelope. You will be tempted to use your debit card, your credit card, or cash from other envelopes once you run out of, let's say, entertainment money for the month, but don't do it. Get creative. So if you run out of like entertainment money from the envelope, you know, you reach in there, you're like, hey, let's go to a bar or something. And then you reach in there, there's like nothing in there, right? Then get creative. Maybe go on a hike for entertainment or turn on Netflix or something. It sucks for sure the first time, especially, but after that, it gets easier. Okay. Same thing with, you know, restaurant money, going out money or whatever. You know, you might run out of the envelope. And then at that point, it's like, okay, just, you know, cook, you know, use money from the grocery envelope to buy some groceries and cook. Okay. So I know there's like probably a lot of people getting anxiety right about now. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. Any questions, comments? That way I know, you know, what's going on with you guys about this.
What if you're a social butterfly?
Ooh.
Like, how do you say no to all those invitations?
Yeah. I think number 1, that's a great question. Thank you for that. You first have to track. Okay. So for example, we're almost done with October. So the first Sunday in November, which is probably like November 6th. Okay. You want to go back and look at all of October's spending. And then you'll see that you went, like your social butterfly, you went to a wedding, right? You went to, you know, 3 birthday parties, you know, 1 gender reveal, all these things. And then you start seeing all these prices add up. And then it's going to hurt. It really is, because I've done it. You know, it's like, oh, shoot, I spent how much? And then number 1 is being aware of how much you're spending. That's super powerful, being aware of how much you spend. Number 2, once you're aware, then you're going to be like, holy crap. Like, I either can't go to that many events, or I just need to maybe have a budget for all the events, right? And then instead of getting, you know, the $50 gift for each event, you might drop it down to the $20 gift for each event, or the $10 gift for each event, you know? So I think at first it's like, yeah, of course, you're a social butterfly. I know you. We all know you. You don't want to get away from, you know, hanging out and doing what you like. But you could do it on a budget. You know, you could really be aware of how much you're spending. And then from there, that's the first step. And then the second step is like, okay, how much am I budget for that for the entire month? You can still say yes, you can still go. You just have to, you know, put money in an envelope and stick to it. Right. So I hope that helps.
I have a question.
Yes.
What if your income is like really unstable? Like, what if you make a really good amount one week and then sometimes you don't, sometimes you do? How do you set yourself a budget with that?
You're muted, Voltaire.
Cool. Great question. Thank you for that. I've been there, done that. I'm in real estate sales, and I've been doing this 19 years. So for the first many years, my income wasn't stable either, meaning sometimes I get paid. I get paid by commissions. I don't get paid a salary. And sometimes I wouldn't get paid. And I remember waking up several Saturdays in my career, Saturday mornings, where I just wake up in a panic and I'm like in my head, like, okay, how much money do I have in my bank account? And I'm like doing the math in my head. I'm like, how many months can I survive? Right. And then like I would jump out of bed on a Saturday and I would literally go like to some neighborhood with flyers in my hand. And I would just like knock all day long on a Saturday until I got a client. knock on doors, door to door to door. I was in a panic and I was living like that. Back then I didn't have a budget. I just knew that, ballpark how much I would spend, but I didn't have it categorized or whatever. So I just in my head, I'm like, okay, I think I spend this much every month. I don't know. So if your income isn't stable, it's even more important, right? Because then having a salary, because at least with a salary, like, okay, I'm gonna get my, $5,000 a month, and that's all I'm gonna have. So just kind of don't run out by the 31st, kind of run out right around the 31st. But with somebody who's commission based, I would say it's even more important to be on this. That way you could pay down debt over time on a budget, and then save over time on a budget. And then that way you really have a nest egg, because really that's what we want as commission earners, right? So I think once you're aware of how much you're spending, that's really that's like step one. That's the beginning of the race. Once you know, like, oh shoot, I'm spending this much, and then what I would do is I would average out the last 12 months. Obviously, COVID was, kind of weird or whatever, but I would average my income for the last 12 months minus COVID. And I would say, okay, I made, 120,000 as an example. That's $10,000 a month. Or I made $60,000 over the last 12 months. That's $5,000 a month. So I'm just going to start off with 5,000. And by the way, Sabrina, I think once you start really averaging your income, so that's another thing. Budgeting is one thing, your expenses, but how much money you're earning. When I started counting my money, like my actual income, like religiously, okay, when I started saying, okay, this is how much I made last month, and the month before, and the month before, and last year, and the year before that, it's almost like counting the pounds at the gym. You get aware, and then you're like, okay, I got to make more income than last month and the month before. I can't go backwards. And then, believe it or not, your income will rise once you start really tracking your income. So track your income, average it over the last 12 months, and then I guarantee you'll start making more money in your business. Cool. All right. So we already talked about spend only what you have in each envelope. All right. So the next thing is, again, Nipsey the Great. I had to take 2 steps back to take 10 forward. So he mentioned this about his lifestyle. Again, he had the nice car. He had, the nice jewelry. He was spending money, and he had a goal at the same time of becoming this great artist and recording music. So he knew he had to invest money in his business in order to get him to where he wanted to be. So when he said, I had to take 2 steps back to take 10 forward, what he meant was he sold his car, right? He stopped that flashy lifestyle in order to save money to invest into his business. So for a while, he mentioned that his friends, people in the neighborhood, started kind of saying, oh man, he fell off. He's not a baller anymore. He's not spending anymore. So that was taking 2 steps back, right? With credibility around his friends and other people. However, that allowed him by sacrificing to take 10 steps forward and becoming who he became. All right. The next thing is you have to pay yourself first, always, in your budget. You always want to budget 20% right off the top. It goes back to you in your savings. And then once you have that savings, then you could invest that. Okay. No matter what. And some of you guys, I know what you're thinking. I don't make enough money to put 20% away. You're thinking that because you don't have a budget yet. Once you have a budget and you actually in writing put 20% for yourself, trust me, those other 80%, you can spend it, do whatever you want. Doesn't matter. You'll have enough. Okay. For the most part, there's very few circumstances that I've seen where somebody doesn't have enough to save 20%. And that's usually like someone like who's a single mom that, has several kids and has like a minimum wage job. And that is tough. I'm not like discounting none of that. But however, a lot of us were blessed not to be in that situation. Trust me, save 20%. So this means saving 20% of every dollar you earn and reinvesting that 20% back into safe stock accounts that earn you 5% over time. There's obviously other stuff, you know, and that's a different class for a different day on where you can put your 20% to earn your income or to start growing your wealth. By the way, these little two guys saying, hi, this is the money for the month, and he's handing it to himself. Hey, thanks a lot. Vanessa came up with that. You guys could like give her a shout out later. All right. So this is the other thing. What expenses should you track? You know, we talked about this already. Every single penny that you spend, make this a daily habit. Guess what? We're almost close to November 1st. Start November 1st and track all of November. This is like if you guys do that and you go through November, November 30th, you're gonna be like, dude, like I'm spending how much? Like on each of these categories, it gets crazy, you know. And by the way, going back to that, so real quick, time out. So something about like what you guys know about me, right? Some of you guys know me, some of you guys know me better than others. Like there's for many years, right? I get my little cold brew. I don't put creamer or nothing, so don't think I'm nasty. I don't put creamer or sugar, but I would get a cold brew, right, for like $3.50, right? Because I found like the lowest price place in town. Everybody else charges $5, right? So for years, I get my $3.50, 25-cent cold brew, and then I would basically sip on like 3-4 ounces a day, and then I would put it in the fridge, and the next day I would like finish it off, right? So instead of drinking like a coffee every day, I would drink like a coffee every other day, type of deal, right? So there's all these little small habits, daily habits, that once you start like tracking, you're gonna be like, dude, I'm spending too much money on this. How can I cut it out or chop it in half, right, Claudia? Because you just said you're a social butterfly. How can I cut it in half? Just by doing like small little things like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, cold brew, that's what I drink. Like, it doesn't taste nasty the next day. Like, I'm good with it, you know? So it's small little things. And I remember my friends would make fun of me and be like, man, you're kind of cheap, man, you know, blah, blah, blah. And however, all that money that I was saving, it allowed me to save and stack and then start investing into real estate, into real assets. And then those real assets turned into millions of dollars, right? So it starts with small little tiny habits. Trust me, that's just how it works. Okay. If you don't have, oh, this is for the kids. All right, so you guys have income, right? So track all your spending. All right. Now we're going to get into debt, because a lot of us say, hey, Wicked, why am I in this rat race? Why can't I get out of this rat race, right? Well, a lot of us have debt, right? We met a client yesterday, came in, he just got a new job. So what did he do? He got himself a brand new truck, $1,000 payment, right? And that's what we do. Now, I guarantee you, if he had a budget, he wouldn't buy that new truck with a $1,000 payment, you know, even though he got a new job. I guarantee you that, because, you know, one thing with you guys that know me, I had the same car, right? A Jeep Grand Cherokee for, was it 11 years? I put 307,000 miles on it. I got a brand new, and I rode it literally until the wheel fell off. So 307,000 miles over 11 years, right? And it was nasty. It was like dirty. It was like, you know, it would always give me problems. But back then I did have a budget, and I was like, no, dude, like, why am I going to go to add a car payment to my budget? Like, I don't want to do that. Right. So for years, I just wrote it all the way down. And I was okay with that, because I knew, again, my numbers. If I didn't know my numbers, I probably would have got a new car a lot sooner. Okay. So I think this concept is going to, by itself, help out a lot of people on this call. Okay. We have to pay off our debt. The debt is the #1 wealth killer in America. So concepts to consider. When you pay cash, it always costs less. You save money by paying cash. What does that mean? So if you buy something, you know, like on credit, anytime you buy something on credit, you're going to pay interest, right? So if you could pay something in cash, pay it in cash. Unless it's a house. I advise that if you buy a house, you don't pay cash for it, that you get a mortgage. Okay. Because there's a different type of debt. I think it's a good debt. We'll talk about that. That's another class. But anyways, I'll give you an example. When I go to the food mart, to the neighborhood, I'm having a blank. On Sundays.
Farmers market.
Farmers market. Yeah. So when I go to a farmer's market, I always ask the vendors, is card the same as cash? Are you going to charge me anything if I pay card? And like half the vendors, they go, yeah, there's a 35-cent processing fee. There's, X percentage that we're going to charge you extra. Then at that point, I pay cash. If they go, no, it's the same. Then I go, okay, would you give me a discount if I pay cash? Like, I'm thinking like, be a business person. Like, give me a discount. You'll save money. I save money. And if they say no, then at that point I pay credit. Right. But sometimes they say, yeah, I'll charge you $1 less. Cool. I pay cash. Right. So, that's number one, pay cash. Number two, when you finance something, it always costs more. Okay. We already know that. So cash on hand versus carrying debt. Okay. So this is the other wealth killer, guys. I see this all the time. Someone comes to my office. They go, I want to buy a house. I go, cool. How much money do you have? They go, oh, we saved up $30,000. I go, oh, shoot, that's pretty good. 30,000. Cool. How much debt do you have? They go, oh, well, I have about 20,000 in credit card debt. Right. Or 20,000 combined with credit card and maybe car debt or whatever. It doesn't make sense. Okay. Ever to have a 5, 10, 15% credit card loan or car loan of $20,000 when you have $30,000 liquid cash, right? I guess a way to think of it, guys, is like this. It's like, if you're paying, if you have a $20,000 loan combined with credit cards, cars, whatever, and that 20,000 isn't free, you're paying somebody, let's say 10% interest. That's $2,000 a year you're paying in interest for those $20,000. How much are you earning on your cash? Probably zero in your bank or at home or wherever you keep your cash. So all you got to do is transfer 20,000 of the cash from this side to this side. And then now you're saving $2,000 a year instantly. Okay. And $2,000 a year, that adds up to like $166 a month that you're saving just by transferring cash to pay off debt. Again, the debt I wouldn't recommend paying off that fast is mortgages. Okay. But everything else, dude, you shouldn't have debt. Nobody in here that's trying to become a millionaire. Millionaires don't have debt. I'll plain and simple. The only debt they have is mortgage debt, like, or business type of debt, but they don't have credit card debts. They don't have like all these, all these type of debts that a lot of people have. And if millionaires do have debts, I guarantee you they're paying like 2% interest, 2.5%, 3%, because they know that instead of paying off those debts with $100,000, let's pretend, they just take that 100,000, they make 5, 6, 7, 8% somewhere else. So they're making money on. Anyways, it's a little bit out there, but millionaires do not carry those type of debts. So we need to get away from that. Get away from all those debts. That includes IRS debt too. If you have IRS debt, they're probably charging like 8% interest. Pay that down as fast as you can. And I'm going to show you guys how right now. Okay.
Hey, Walter, I got a question.
Yes.
Because I've read something that said the average national credit card interest rate is between 17 and 20%. Now, in this instance, say this client or this person has 20 grand in credit card debt, paying, say, the average, or not even the average, say it's below average, but they got 20 grand in the bank account, exactly 20 grand. And I mean, based on your recommendations now, you're saying, hey, take this 20 in your savings and just get rid of that debt. And so what would you say to the person that says, well, I'd love to do that, but then I'm depleting my savings for a rainy day? What thoughts do you have for that person who's kind of scared to do such a move like that and deplete their savings?
Cool. Thank you for asking me that. That's a good one, because it is scary, right? But I don't know of anything right now you can't pay on credit. So if you have $20,000 of credit card debt and you have $20,000 cash, what I would do is I would use the cash to pay down all the credit card debt. I'll be left with $0 in my pocket. Why? Because I have a credit card and I can run it up if I need to on a rainy day, right? So there's nothing I could think that you cannot buy with credit. You know, the only thing that pops in my head, I don't know why, but it ransom. Ransom, they probably won't take like, you know, a credit card. But yeah, so you should, it's okay to have $0 if that means you have zero debt. It's okay. It's scary as hell, but it's the right move. Okay. So go with debt. And by the way, that's going to make you how much a month again? If you use the 20,000 to pay, you know, the $20,000 credit card, that's going to make you on 10% interest, $166 a month. If you're paying 20% interest, that's, you know, $324 a month that you're saving, that you're making just by using your cash to pay off the debt. Trust me, guys. That's an easy move you guys can make if you have cash right now. Start making some money on the cash that you have. Okay, next one. I already went over this. It doesn't make any sense to have $10,000 cash for an emergency, right, Raul? For a rainy day, if you have $15,000 in debt, use the $10,000 cash to pay down the debt and only have $5,000 in debt. So, and then the other part about a rainy day is like, what does that come down to? That's mindset, right? That's mindset. We got to have a prosperity mindset, as opposed to the mindset that's like, hey, something bad's going to happen, so I need to have a rainy day. You know, like, or a rainy day is going to happen. No, it's like, let's have a better mindset. Okay. Ways to eliminate debt. Okay. This is where it becomes interesting. All right. Number one, create a family budget. Number two, use cash on hand to pay off all debt. Number three, stop bringing on new debt. A lot of us pay off old debt and we're like, oh, let me go bring on new debt. Let me get some furniture. Let me get this. Let me get that. Right. Number four, use the envelope system. Number five, use the debt snowball. Cool. So let's go into the debt snowball. And by the way, I don't know if Vanessa's on here, but oh, heck no. Did I pay my internet? All right. We'll go into that right now. Actually,
yeah, I'm on.
All right, Vanessa, can you get me is Sunny's budget in here? And also if you can give me the debt snowball.
Yeah, I
go to
sent
Dave Ramsey's website if you can't find
I
it,
sent
please.
it in an email to Claudia and Raul.
Okay, Claudia,
With you.
who could
It's
open
in
up
the
the debt snowball? Did you send both of them?
No, just the debt snowball.
Okay, who could open it up? Claudia, Raul.
Oh, yeah.
I think I got it for you here.
Cool.
I have
Thank
it.
you.
But, okay, cool.
Cool. All right. So what is the debt snowball? Debt snowball is the analogy of a snowball, you know, going down a mountain and turning into an avalanche. So that's a debt snowball. Let me stop sharing here. So what you want to do is you want to list all your debts, and Raul's going to show you in a bit. And then you start off with the smallest debt, the easiest thing, right? Whether it's the $50 credit card or the $200 charge account at Nordstrom's, you start off with the smallest debt that you have. You pay that off first. Then you pay off the second largest and the third largest and the fourth largest, and it starts snowballing, right? And this is it right here. So let's pretend you have three debts. This is an easy one, right? You have a diagnostic debt of $50 a month, or $50 total payoff. You have the hospital bill of $460 total. And then you have the Home Depot account of $770. So that's step one, is list all your debts. And we'll give you this worksheet, okay? The second step is the minimum payments. So let's pretend that the diagnostic minimum payment is $10 a month. The hospital bill minimum payment is $38 a month. And the Home Depot minimum payment is $45 a month. So what you do is you list the minimum payments, and then you focus on the smallest one first. So you start off with diagnostic bill, okay? That's $50. So you use all your focus and energy paying off that one. Once that one is done, then you use the minimum payment of the diagnostic bill, and then you start to pay off the second one. So the second bill, which was the hospital bill, the minimum payment was $38. So you add the $10 to the $38, that's $48. So now you focus on the hospital bill. You start making $48 payments instead of $38 of payments a month. And then once you pay the hospital bill off, then you add the $48 to the $45 minimum Home Depot account, and that's $93. So now you're pushing $93 towards that Home Depot card, and then you pay that one off, right? So you start basically snowballing the smaller one from the to the bigger one. Then you start paying off a bunch of debts. Scroll down a bit. I want to see if she filled it out. No, she didn't. Okay, so you could fill this out, right? So you list out your debts right here, right, Vanessa? Unless you did fill it out, you're not telling me.
Yeah, I did. I did. I'm not sure why it's blank.
Okay. All right.
I had sent it in the email.
So that's huge. That's debt snowball, and it works. Real quick, what questions do we have about the debt snowball? Because this is super important right here.
Walter.
What's up, Juliet?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you explain that again? The snowball?
Sure. Okay. So Raul,
Like
can you show
really
us your
quick,
screen?
sorry.
Yeah, let's do it. This is what it's about. This is a workshop, right? This is where we actually learn. Show us your screen again, Raul, real quick.
Well, did you find that PDF? I can share, I have it on my screen, but you got it? No, go
Got-
back to the email.
Oh, her. Let me make
Can
you
you
a
email it
co-host.
to me real quick, please?
Let me make you a co-host. Here we go. You're a co-host, Claudia. You could do it.
Okay.
I think somebody wanted to see the debt snowball one more time though, no?
No, that's what we're gonna look at.
Got it. Okay.
No. Oh, never mind. Claudia's showing us something else. Vanessa, did you
think-
do a debt snowball or not? Did you fill one out?
There wasn't a filled out one in that email.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I added 3 different credit cards,
Okay.
my water machine,
All right.
and the IRS.
Did you email it to me too?
No, I sent it from your email.
Got it. Hold on a second. Let's see
It's
what we
not
got.
filled out.
Maybe it
Okay.
didn't save. I'm not sure, but yeah, I filled it out.
Okay, cool. Let me fill one out right now in front of everybody. That way
I
everybody
did
could get it.
lower numbers, like I
Sure.
said, like a few $100.
Cool. I got you. Let me work on this. All right, let me share my screen real quick. Here we go. All right, so here we go. So let's pretend you have a Chase credit card, right? A lot of people have like several credit cards. I recommend having one. Let's say you have a Amazon credit card, right? And then American Express, which I don't recommend because it costs money to have an American Express card. Okay. So let's say the smallest one, and let's say we have a water softener system or something some people have. And then you have a car, right? So the Chase credit card, let's say it's a small one, $250. Minimum payment is always like $25, right? And then the Amazon, let's say that's a little bit more because you like Amazon, right? $25 minimum
Well,
payment.
remember you have to do them the smallest to largest by
Correct.
balance.
Yeah. And then the American Express, let's say that one you use to go eat out, right? And I say that one's $35. And then the water softener system, I know some of those are like expensive, right? And let's say that one's going to be $149 a month. And then your car, let's say you have a nice newer Jeep, $29,750, and then you're paying $540 a month, right? So the way it works, Juliet, is for this Chase card, your total payoff is $250. Your minimum payment is $25, right? So what you want to do is you want to add this $25 minimum payment. Like after you like focus and pay off this $250, now you add this $250 to this minimum payment, and the new payment is 25 plus 25, that's 50. So now you focus on paying off your Amazon card. Now you're putting $50 behind it instead of 25. And then once you pay off these $900, then you X that out, and then you do $50, and then you add to your American Express of 35, So that's $85. So now you're focused and you're paying $85 a month towards this, American Express. You're not paying the minimum anymore, right? And the reason why people pay the minimum is because they think, you know, it's for their credit, or it's okay. You know, they don't understand that they're paying a ton of money. They're paying, you know, $2,000 a month or more, $4,000. They're paying a lot of money. I'm not a month, a year to borrow this money. Sorry, not 200, $400, not 2,000. So now you're putting $85, you're snowballing $85 a month, 85. Now you paid off the American Express. Then you add the 85 to the 149, right? So now you're at where are we at? 234. Is that right?
So what you
Sorry.
what you paid off
149,
that
234.
payment, yeah, you added onto that.
So 85 plus 149. Now, Juliet, the water softener system, now instead of paying 149, now you're paying 234 a month, 234. And then you pay it off faster. And then once you pay out the water softener system, now you add 234 to 540, right? So that's $774 a month instead of 540. So now you're paying off your car faster, and you're saving all this interest. You're saving so much interest, right? And then, so some of you guys have more than this, right? We helped a client make a move on a house, sell a house and buy a house earlier in the year. And I think they had 30, who can remember? Anybody? Like 35 credit cards and bills. It was crazy. It was like the most I've ever seen. It was a lot. So they sold their house and then use that money to pay off those 35 things. But you could use this debt snowball sheet to really create wealth. I mean, I love this sheet. Juliet, do you understand this now?
I do. Yes, I do. Are you going to share this with us or
Yes.
send it to our emails?
Yeah, Vanessa or Claudia can send everybody this to their emails because we have your emails through Eventbrite. So we'll go ahead and send it to you guys.
Okay.
And this is
Thank you.
editable. You're welcome. This is editable. And if you want to save it, then you have to print PDF it to save it. Once you do this and then you print it out and then you start crossing stuff out. Cool. All right, let's go back to the show. We got about 8 minutes left. Anybody else on the debt snowball, how it works? Super powerful stuff. Okay, the next thing is use the envelope system. We talked about that snowball, okay? This is huge, okay? And I had to learn this lesson a long time ago, and I'm glad I did. Stop loaning money to people. Teach them how to fish for themselves, or have the relationship destroyed, because borrowing money is like a master-servant relationship. That's what, whenever you let somebody borrow money, it establishes that mindset, whether you know it or not. It's subconscious. Like, hey, I'm the master because I lent you money. You're the servant. And that ruins relationships, guys. So do not loan people money. You'll never become wealthy loaning people money. When I say loaning people money, I'm talking about like for free, just like, you know, friends, family, like, oh, can you let me borrow $500 for this? Number one, you're not teaching them to be responsible. Number two, you're not putting yourself in any position to ever be really successful with money. On top of that, do not co-sign for someone. Co-signing for someone is going to affect your chances of creating wealth for yourself in the future if opportunities pop up and things of that nature, okay? I know it's tough, trust me. But because I've been there, done that. But the conversation that I've started having with people is like, you know what? You know, when people would ask me, hey, Voltaire, can you loan me some money? I'd say, you know what? I have a rule. And the rule is I don't let anybody borrow money. I don't want money to get in the way of our relationships. So I can't. I'm sorry. Guess what? They don't care. They're not going to get mad at you. They're just going to be like, okay. And then they fucking call the next person. That's just how it works. And for years I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, if I say no, they're not going to like me. And they're going to be like, fuck, you know, like, you know, but no, it doesn't even happen like that. right? And then guess what? When I started telling people that, other people heard, people stopped asking me. No one's asked me for money in a long time, you know, except for like donations for like charities and stuff. Number 7, stop cash advances. There's a lot of people that get their check and they go to cash advances or they go to a corner liquor store, right? I have family that did this. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Open up a bank account. Go to your bank, deposit your bank. It's free. So cash advance places make so much money off of us. And I wish I had the stats. I do have the stats, but not in this presentation. I have it in other stats. Like I'm talking about like they're making a killing. All right. Next thing, pay cash instead of credit. We talked about that. Okay. Now let's go over to nope, it's not there. Is it here? Okay. Let's go over to, okay, who has the budget? All right, so here we go. Here's a budget, guys, and we're gonna send you this too. So this is a budget that my nephew did, Sonny's budget, and this is him into the future once he gets a job. So let's start at the bottom. And by the way, I could give you guys like the full version for all of us who have more expenses to this, but this is like an idea of how it works. So he puts up the total income at the bottom, 10 grand a month, okay? So it starts at the top, okay? The first thing is this, pay yourself first. So out of $10,000, right? He paid himself $2,000 right here. And then he broke it down, $1,500 into stocks, and then $500 into his house fund. Okay, so that's 20%. So imagine you do that for the rest of your life, you're a millionaire, right? 20%. The next is, okay, he's gonna give 5% of his income to charity. You know, tithing is 10%. He's doing 5%. Good for him. All right, the next thing is restaurants. You know, Sonny likes to eat just like his uncle. So he's spending $1,500 on these restaurants, right? A month. Clothing, $150. You know, he's not a big dresser. You know, his mortgage / rent, that's gonna be $2,000 plus homeowners insurance, that's $20, right? He's gonna have utility bills, $60 a month, water, $75, his mobile phone, $100, internet, $75, that's $310 a month on utilities. Okay, we got food between groceries and restaurants, groceries and restaurants, $1,500. And then transportation, you know, his car payment, $450 a month, gas and oil, $25. I don't know how, it might be an electric vehicle. That's what it is. Electric vehicle, $25 a month. Repairs and tires, $25 on average. And again, this is an average, $300 for the year, right? That's $25 a month. Auto insurance, $125 a month. That's $625 total for his car. And then personal, he's going to have health insurance, $100 a month. He's going to have entertainment money, $500. He's going to have education and books, $300 a month on himself, on his self-education. And then extras. So he's left, by the way, after all this is up, he's left with $1,995 extra. So what he's going to do with that? He's either going to go spend it or blow it or whatever. In his case, he's going to throw it back into savings. So now he's saving almost 40% of his income, 39.95% of his income. And then so for total personal, $2,895 a month. So at the end of the day, guys, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your budget, your income equals your expenses. There shouldn't be 1 penny left over. Does that make sense? There should never be 1 penny left over on where you don't tell your money what to do. Not 1 penny. So that's Sonny's budget. It's a quick start budget. What I'm going to share with you guys, Claudia, if we can share with them the cash flow budget. The cash flow budget is going to have this, but in like 2.5 pages. So it's going to have a lot more categories. You know, it's going to have like childcare, and it's going to have all kinds of other stuff. I can't think of all the categories. All right, we're almost there, guys. Anybody monitoring Facebook? We got any questions on there? All right, this is the reference page, right? There's a guy, Dave Ramsey, right? Dave Ramsey is all about living a life where it's debt free. And by the way, that's a great life to live. Being debt free it just feels amazing. Not having to worry about, owing anybody anything, like me personally, I owe my banks, my mortgages, but I think that's a smart thing to do. I could, let's say, live Dave Ramsey's life completely and say, well, okay, I don't want any mortgages, and I could just start working towards paying all my mortgages off, and I could pay off a bunch of my mortgages if I wanted to, and then live like that. But I don't think that's gonna allow me to grow the wealth that I want to grow. So I'm using mortgages to my advantage to grow more wealth. But anyways, if you guys haven't read his book, read it. Okay, Dave Ramsey, look him up. His book is called shoot. I know I got it in here somewhere. But if you guys want a copy of it, let me know. We'll send one over to you guys. Okay, just hit up Raul or Claudia right now. All right.
Is it the Total Money Makeover?
Total Money Makeover. That's one of them. Yeah, he has a few books, but that's a good one. And he teaches all this. Okay, going back to finish off this workshop, the number one advice for millionaire friends on how to become wealthy. We'll go back to this guy. Save and invest 20% of all your income in allowance. Download the Robinhood app and buy 10 stocks you like, and keep doing that with all the money you earn forever. And the reason why he says, hey, put it into stocks is because if you keep it in the bank, you're going to lose money, meaning over time with inflation, right? Especially now. A lot of people that have cash, they're losing so much money, right? So that's why millionaires, they want all their cash to be invested in real hard assets that hedge against inflation, okay? What questions do you guys have? We're running out of time. And someone said, I like a copy, please. And I don't know if they sent that to me or to everybody, but send it to Raul or Claudia. Send them your information because you're a Zoom user from what I'm seeing. I can't see any name or information. What questions, guys? We're wrapping up. We're 2 minutes past an hour. Anything scary? Okay. I would like to learn more about stocks. Cool. So what we could do, guys, is that's some good feedback. So what I did with the kids is I had a millionaire workshop series where I did have co-hosts. So like the stocks, someone mentioned stocks. I invited my stock millionaire friend who made his money, his fortune in stocks. So that's what he knows, right? So I can't teach that class. Yes, I have stocks, I own stocks and all that, but I didn't become a millionaire doing that. I could teach the real estate one. I could teach the budgeting one because that's what I did. But all the people that I had invited on, they were all millionaires. I verified. And so we could actually create like a series on financial literacy for anyone, adults, kids, whoever. And that way everyone could just join and learn. So cool. Thanks for that feedback. Guys, any more questions before I wrap this up? If not, then thank you for joining, and look for the email because we will send you these 2 sheets and start budgeting November 1st. Okay. Trust me. It's like the best feeling on the planet, and it's going to put you like on a trajectory to become a millionaire. Easy. I guarantee it. So, all right. Thanks a lot, guys. My pleasure. Good seeing y'all. Peace. Put the baby on the phone. Put the baby on the Zoom. Let me see him. Is he sleeping? What's up, boy?
Aw.
There you go. Oh, he's chilling. All right, cool. Thanks for joining.
Mini Sabrina.
Oh, I wouldn't even.
Yeah,
All right.
he's out.
Nice house.
Really nice house. All right, peace
He
out.
loves it too. Thank you.